And we're back here at the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series, Europe Edition. I'm Nathanius, joined the desk by In Control as we get into our lower bracket match. In Control was trying to hold back tears before we went back on. Of course, you hate seeing players get eliminated.
No one's been eliminated. Oh, we're about to.
Yeah.
It brings me a little bit of joy because if it is HeroMarine that gets eliminated to a Protoss, I can already like.
Oh, the forums are going
Muslim
to
woke up and he's
everyone.
like, a Protoss one?
I saw him.
Bada 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 boop.
Yep.
That upsets me. Bada 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 bada. Come on.
Yeah. We're desperate.
It's 2019. Allow Protoss to win.
Yeah, but you know what else is great about 2019 in
What
Control?
Skins?
The StarCraft 2 War Chest. That's right. Pick yourself
War
up
Chest.
a fancy factory, as you can see to my left here, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Is it though?
Available in new War Chest today. The support. I mean, come on. It supports the StarCraft 2 esports. You get cool skins. You get to flex on people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is good. You should buy it. Everyone should.
Literally everyone.
And if you enable the what is it called?
There's War Chest extension.
Extension.
Yeah.
Then you can actually earn opening up the war chest as you watch WCS.
It's pretty generous on XP. I think if you were to just watch if you were to watch
for like a day,
WCS Winter all month, you could completely fill your entire war chest.
Well, you mean all 3 phases?
Yeah, you could do all of it just from watching.
It's very generous. You
WCS
could do a
Winter
day,
all month.
unlock a whole thing.
Yeah,
like the whole tier. Or whatever.
I think you could fill out all five. Like when the new one opens on the 15th, I think it is.
Yeah.
That next broadcast, you could probably just unlock every single skin.
Especially if Goblin plays, because every series will go to game 3, and even when he loses, he'll drag it up 20 more minutes.
See, some people are like, well, I want the show to be shorter, so I just know who wins. Some people are like, dude, we need game 3 so I can get that final skin. It's really important.
It is. This will be a good one. It's HeroMarine versus ShaDoWn. These are 2 players that we did see in the WCS system last year. HeroMarine, of course, went all the way to BlizzCon, one of the absolute best in all of Europe. A big personality for Home Story Cup. We call him Big Gabe for so many reasons. But then there's ShaDoWn, a French Protoss, who also finds himself in this loser match. Of course, he faced Mauna first. That's not as tricky.
They just had a weird, kind of weird series, I felt.
A good series, though.
Yeah,
ShaDoWn.
very aggressive. I like the way Fear Dragon put it. They both just kept punching each other, and neither tried to guard. In the top left, here is that blue Protoss player. He is ShaDoWn.
ShaDoWn. Get ShaDoWn with it.
You give me an intro for HeroMarine?
Yeah. Lower right-hand side, the young, the restless, the complaining. It is HeroMarine. Or, as we call him, Big Gabe.
Big Gabe.
21 years old. Gosh, where's the time gone? I remember when he was just a 14-year-old young man walking around Home Story Cup, learning how to meme from the StarCraft community.
Those are good old days.
Yep.
And then it becomes recursive, and it just turns into salt. Gateway on the low ground, by the way. This is for that, everyone's talking about this new thing, right? If you put it on the low ground at the natural, it circumvents that 3-second adept change and makes it easier to get across the map and delay L Command Center.
Aren't our pro gamers funny? They're like, we're going to nerf the building time of the adept by 3 seconds.
Well, we'll just build it 3 seconds closer.
I'll build it closer. Exactly. You ain't nerfing me.
It's like, we've decided to tweak it 3 more seconds. Like every Protoss builds
just
a
creeps
gateway
slower.
now.
Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
Just builds their first
it just
gateway.
keeps getting closer.
Eventually, it just turns into proxy barracks versus proxy gateway every
God.
game.
That would be so funny. Literally. You know what? Guys, it's 18 seconds. Pro players, well, we already accounted for that. Has shown us the way. Here we go.
And some funny stuff that happens in StarCraft. Well, we didn't anticipate people in the beta would literally only build Warhounds.
Yeah. Oh, that was, geez Louise. Yeah. We don't need to even talk about that, but Reaper about to come out here as per usual. Should kind of flounder around looking for something or another. And as the Cybernetics core finishes, of course, that first adept will get queued up and chrono boosted out. And this song and dance is kind of funny, though. The adept doesn't even like get across the map. It always just deflects the Reaper, and they kind of do this weird like, now you go, now you go, now you go, now you go. They just like bounce back and forth.
The Reaper helps keep the Protoss honest at least, right? Because you can't just send the adept straight across the map. Gets the probe kill there though. That's a pretty nice start. And if he's skilled enough, could grab another, but he's going to pull back, just losing the Reaper to the adept. As
if
the
he's
stock
skilled enough, Jesus.
I don't know.
There's that Terran like self-guilt. You're making it about his skill. Sometimes the Protoss gets to deny.
Well,
it
this
too.
map, right? The Reaper can't get out of the main base, so there's only one way in or out. So it's very
Well, Nate,
dangerous to try.
that's the funny thing. Reapers can always get out of a main base, my man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know, man. There's really it's just the ramp here. That's it, actually. It's like
I know. It doesn't matter. Reapers are the slipperiest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
You've never tried to hold position probes while leaning.
You know how many shots it takes a stalker to kill a Reaper?
5.
No, incorrect. It's 26. It's 26.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It takes 26 shots.
I don't know. I don't.
Look at it. It's in the main again. Nate, does it get out? Ask me.
Does it get out?
Yes. Watch.
Does it now?
And it just stops at the corner and dies. I was like, does it get out? Yes. And he just literally pauses right there. I'm just going to sit in the corner and die. Anyways, he was always going to die, though.
Thank you for jinxing our player, Jeffrey.
He does scout everything. The Adept is going to get into the main base where it is actually locked in.
I'm down.
As I
Bring
say
me
that.
back.
Yeah. Beat me up, Scotty. Saves the Adept. Gets out of there. But it's going to be Blink Robo, which is kind of your just standard good against any kind of harass opening. If you want to do a one-base push, go for it. I will have a large amount of units. I'll have observers to see your next transition, that kind of stuff. Very reminiscent of Rain back a few years back now. He's playing Broodwar these days, but he used to be the guy that would churn out 3 or 4 observers when everybody else was just making Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, interesting though. Tech Lab, by the way, on the second barracks for HeroMarine. So we saw some of the combat shield timings this week in TvP. We've seen him go for the stim as well earlier. But this might just be seeing, I want 1 or 2 more Marines with my medevac tank push. But man, ShaDoWn adding a lot of gateways here. Do you like it, Jeff? I mean, he's taking the 3rd base, but it seems like HeroMarine will probably just do another 2-base Marine tank push.
Yeah, with 2 Cyclones, and like you said, skipping stim and even combat shield altogether here, I absolutely love the Blink Stalker opening. I really, and this is why in the later stages of WCS, and it's, as the year develops, it's going to be really fun, and maybe even on like the Pylon show, we can get some programmers on to talk with us, but we've been seeing a ton of this push, but I'm sorry to beat this dead horse, but I really feel like the Protoss can easily beat this if they see it coming, or even if they prepare for it just as like a meta build. I don't think this push is particularly good against everything. We'll have to see if I eat these words, but I feel like this is a really good defense for a Protoss.
Yeah, he's got the Stalkers on the high ground. Good use of the Guardian Shield to help protect against the Marine fire. The tank is going to siege, but it's not in range of anything important. And shutting down the bunker building was super nice. He didn't pull it really from any SCVs at all. It was just one. So with the bunker gone, the Stalkers are just going to dive on top of this, focus down the siege tank, and everything else will just die.
And it can't get home. And this is a different iteration of this opening. Again, we had medevacs this time, and as Nate pointed out, and we talked a little bit about, there's only stim getting started just now. But with Blink Stalkers coming off of en masse here, there's no War Prism. If there's a War Prism, I actually think that we would just see the Terran die. He just dies.
Yeah,
he's actually still in trouble anyway.
I'm thinking he might just blink onto the tank, right? And then fight everything else.
He actually is still dead.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. HeroMarine's going to pull the SCVs off the mineral line, trying to use those to block. Of course, the Stalkers aren't going to fare as well against those with the meat shield providing good repair in the tank. And HeroMarine really just trying to buy as much time for himself as possible. It's important to keep in mind that his stim is not even halfway done yet, so there's still a very viable threat of Stalkers blinking into the main base outside the range of those tanks. That Tech Lab is not too far from home for ShaDoWn.
ShaDoWn!
Pick it up.
And he's going to lose. Oh my god, that's stim!
A lot of people in the chat are going to be really mad at that one.
You mean like 100% of the Terran players?
I see Marine Lord saying.
I'm willing to get up on a pulpit pretty soon here though and like open up the debate. Like Terran players, we know we tease them for complaining. They complain a lot. Sometimes there's like pretty legitimate complaints. I would even give them like a 50%. I think some of it, yeah, they get the complaint. But this is not it. Like,
no.
This push is good. We saw it work yesterday, but again,
he did as well. Like he didn't go with any upgrades in it. Like he just tried to hit a little bit faster. But Protoss is gonna have blink when that attack hits, and
or charge. Charge is good there too.
Just
like
naked Marines with 2 tanks isn't gonna cut it.
Anything other than I'm going towards Colossus or I open Stargate, in my opinion.
Painful scan, by the way. Tries to get that observer, misses it. Still going to be able to go back into the main if he wants. Switches the stim research to the right side Tech Lab, but Protoss has got the fully saturated 3rd base. He's moving into 1-1 on the upgrades, extended thermal lance, charge, additional gateways.
Oh, he's miles ahead.
Yeah.
The worst part about this, I mean, there's several phases. This is all bad. He loses tank here as well. But by getting stim delayed as well, it's going to be about 9 minutes before Big Gabe can even think about moving out with a serious face and doing any kind of pressure. If he's moving out right now, and Stim, I guess, will finish behind this, so it's a little bit earlier than I said, but this is not a real push. He's taking so much economic damage. He does not. He is actually building a third behind, excuse me.
Well, he's got +1 attack, and the problem is he's going to be running into ShaDoWn, who has 1/1 now. So he's evened up the upgrades, or, you know, I guess he's ahead now. And at this point, yeah, 4th Nexus. I think you start 2-2 and maybe get Templar Archives, just kind of batten down
whatever
the
you
hatches.
want, Nate.
Yeah.
Anything. If he builds a Stargate right here, we can love it. If he builds a second Robo, we're like, what a great move. If he builds 5 more gateways, we're like, that's cool. Like, what does he build right now that we don't like?
Macro Nexus in his main.
Fantastic. You're correct. That would be it.
But
that's about it.
Give you the best answer possible.
Yeah.
This one Marine, a HeroMarine, if you will, goes in, gives his life to scout the 3rd base that he already scanned. Fusion Core in a 2nd starport, though, so I guess for HeroMarine this turns into a little. You really got to try to slow down the game, right? Use the Liberators to zone out, and because at this point he is so far behind, I feel like you have to just stall this game to the point where the Protoss is limited by supply.
Yeah.
Cap, right?
Well, this is where the frustration of Terran, I feel like, is valid. At this point in time, they either need to Mega Turtle, which is really tough to pull off on a small map like this when you're this far behind as well, or you need to be harassing and doing like ultra aggression, but that is also very difficult when they open Blink and have such good map vision as this Protoss does. So I understand. This is a very tough spot for Big Gabe. I do like the call for Fusion Core, like you said. Range Liberators is one of those comeback units you can do. You can lock down 4 bases with it. Kinda.
Yeah. I mean, you have to get to Liberator range, but it is
down 40 supply.
It is the best thing you're going to get versus a Protoss ground-based army.
Yeah.
Baits the mine shots
just
out.
Beautiful micro there, you know?
Yep.
That's
Good
what we should do,
blinks.
is just start tickling the anger nerve of Terran players. Like, oh my god, these blinks here are so gorgeous.
Does the anger nerve need tickling, though, Jeff?
It's just this giant vein that runs down the middle of their head, so I don't think it needs tickling so much as just calling out. But he is circling out up here. He's closing in on max. When a Protoss maxes, there's not much more you can do. You don't want to sit on max because, of course, if you get dropped or something like that, you can't warp in units to defend. And he sees, okay, you've got some Liberators. You're spread out. You're trying to defend this open area.
Prism shows up, and I guess what? He just adds his final warp in here and then just
aim move
punches
for win.
it.
Maybe if you want, target down the Liberators, but you probably don't need to.
No.
He could just get up and go get himself
He's gonna
water.
Plow his way through like there was only an inch of snow that fell last night in Control, and the streets are clean. ShaDoWn takes game number 1.
Yeah.
ShaDoWn.
And we've been talking a lot about it, but for those of you that maybe weren't watching yesterday or whatever, this kind of 1.5 base push that we're seeing the Terran players do, it's like 100% so far. Like Special did it in 3 out of his 3 games.
Yeah, Special
Protoss.
And Special did the Combat Shield variation.
Combat Shield. We're seeing it here. I felt like there's another Terran that did it as well, but maybe
Special
not.
mixed it up with the starport. He skipped the starport once, and then he had a Banshee one time and a Liberator the other.
But a variation of this each time.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the meta build right now. And it feels like
the Koreans are doing this too.
Well, of course they are. If the non-Koreans are doing it, it's as if they had an original thought. Thank you, please. Good joke early in the day here. 0-1 for HeroMarine, and ShaDoWn makes it look pretty easy. So we're actually a game away from HeroMarine just absolutely going out. And by the way, just to remind everyone, by his own declaration, this is a very important moment here for us. HeroMarine says that he will retire if he doesn't make it out of this group. So in 2018, we had no regret promise to eat a shoe. We're still kind of waiting on that one.
That'll be
2019, it's just now February, but you know this promise might have been made in January. HeroMarine's declaring his retirement should he lose this next one of 2 games, and I think that's amazing. If he does, can you guys do me a favor? Can we please get together some graphics and tweet at him? #WCS. I'm thinking black and white inspirational pictures of Big Gabe talking about his many struggles against Protoss. Maybe that dance video from Home Story Cup, just something to remember him by, because he's been such a big part of our community. It's going to be a shame to lose him here so early.
Yeah.
At 21 years young, too. To retire. Isn't that amazing? I think Michael Jordan retired at 22.
Yeah.
He was a pretty young guy as well.
Well, Big Gabe just taken after his idols.
Well, the good thing is, if that is one of his idols, Michael Jordan came out of retirement about 6 times, too. So Big Gabe can do the same.
I say StarCraft retirement kind of works like that.
I know. Every time. You know what? I retire. Said Stefano 5 years ago, and we're like, well, what is retirement if you just kind of keep playing and get sponsored?
Nobody
travel
really
the world,
knows.
Eat all the
like,
time.
well, I'm retiring. It's like, well, I'm still going to stream. Okay. I'm still going to play in tournaments. Okay. So
you know what?
I'm still on a team, actually, as well.
I'm going to do it too, Nate. I retire from casting, but I will be here in a couple of weeks.
See, you joined me. I've already retired.
Have you retired as well?
I'm still just here.
That's amazing.
Know,
Look at us go. StarCraft scene so full of retired players and people.
Yeah.
What may retire can never retire again. HeroMarine fighting for his tournament life here against ShaDoWn. And I'll tell you what, if HeroMarine builds a couple of barracks, has a factory producing 2 to 3 tanks, and he grabs 3 to 4 SCVs and says, I'm going to go across the map. I'm going to build 2 bunkers. I'm going to try to win the game. I will vomit on my keyboard. And just like these guys, I will not keep that promise because it would be very unprofessional. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that would be, I mean, that'd just be a mess really for the poor guys.
It'd be bad.
That have to clean up
I know, and I'd
really.
probably kill a keyboard too. That's
yeah, I don't know. Security here is pretty tight. They might not let you back in.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't blame him for a second.
In the bottom right, leading the series 1-0. He is the blue Protoss. He is ShaDoWn. ShaDoWn!
Dude, for a second, again, my brain is not working right now. I read that as his name was Iron Chain.
Oh.
Not his team, and I was like, dude, that's so sick. What's your name? Iron Chain.
My name is Steel Whip.
Go ahead.
Don't test me, punk. In the top left, the red Terran player. He's HeroMarine.
Gabriel Sergod. That's how the Gregorian monks would sing it. Yeah, if he was at the beginning of a Halo game, it'd start that way. Tough spot. He's having a tough time. TvP. Those darn Protoss players, they got the more inexpensive Blink Stalkers. They got the 3 seconds slower, but still same Adept. No, wait, it's on the high ground. It's a truly 3 seconds slower Adept. It's tough. It's tough to be a Terran right now. They have to wait for Maru to get out into the GSL and show them how to play. So they're just poking in the dark right now.
Yeah.
Just poking.
That is the truth, though, is everyone is just waiting for the first GSL broadcast so that everyone will change every single build that they use immediately.
Be unstreamed for 25 hours before going to the military. So this is all based off of that, I'm guessing.
Well,
BN must have done that timing push in those 25 hours 600 times, probably.
Yeah. I think. I guess there's a good amount of evidence there. He played a pretty wide range of opponents, though.
Yeah.
But we have the Reaper Scout coming in for HeroMarine. Very good SimCity blocking off one of the entrances. This is kind of what we were talking about with the last map, that you only have so much space to get the Reaper in and out. He's going to dance around that Adept. He does have the second probe kill confirmed. That's not bad. And the Adept will kill the Reaper pretty early on. Twilight Council to follow this up, and I believe the Reaper did see that for HeroMarine. I'm not the world's greatest observer. I am merely a tribute, ladies and gentlemen, so please excuse me. So we have the reactor coming in for barracks. Second barracks is coming in.
Do you know what that reference is, Nate?
Of course.
Okay. Some people don't. When they even make their own reference. Here it is. 2 barracks and a factory.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the starport.
Please make a starport.
He doesn't have an SCV on the map, so it won't be proxied.
Please make a starport.
Look at this, by the way. Someone's already thinking about their counterattack.
Yeah.
Maybe he watched Special's match. He's like, well, Special didn't build a starport in one of the games.
No, Special he just did the same thing every game.
Special's more Korean than me, so he must know what he's doing.
The thing is, though, when you ask Terran players when they're doing stuff like this, they always say the same thing. They're like, there's nothing else we can do. Nothing. Nothing else works. And then somebody does something else and it does work, and they're like, well, let's not talk about the past. Leave the past in the past.
It's like, well, he's in the top 0.001 percentile of all players. So of course he's the only player who can win without doing this.
I love this, too. This is... Right now, there's like a writhing mass of Terran players that are watching these games, and they're just like rolling around their own filth. They're just like, but if ShaDoWn eliminates HeroMarine with a proxy Dark Shrine,
man, seriously,
they're gonna be like, they're just gonna like attend the Church of the Muslim.
Stay off
and
the BNet forums for a week, man.
I don't know. I don't know.
Until Maru wins GSL again.
Those little buggers are invisible. What are you supposed to do, mate? What are you supposed to do?
That's a Muslim.
So there's not enough ammo for them to just fire the Marines blindly at the invisible shadow.
He built a missile turret and still lost. What are we supposed to do?
I love that too, because if you do a different dialect of English accent to a British person, this Widowmine's gonna spot it. No, it's not.
Oh, no.
Too bad it's not like a bald eagle mine or something like that, because then I would have seen it.
Yeah, if M. Canning's, if he had that Widow mine, he would
Yeah,
have seen
they
it.
see really well.
Yeah.
So the
you
DTs
go.
should just die. Go to the front, please. If
This
they should just die, but watch the Terran like randomly just pull back right now. No, okay, good. And they're in the same space.
Pew,
Super
pew.
die.
And there you go. Okay, one of them. Good split at least that they didn't both immediately die, but takes the third base.
By the way, Starport, Stim's going to finish. We do have a different opening coming out from our Terran player, thankfully.
Yeah. So, weird thing about this though, without the third command center, it's going to be really hard for Big Gabe to move out on the map with the DTs. As we see, this one's going to hunt down the mine, preventing that from spawning.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. This lines up really
very hard
savagely.
to move out because he doesn't have like the mobile detection. He doesn't have a Raven, and with just 2 orbitals, if he does save,
he's saving scans though, right?
Yeah, but if he does save scans, then he doesn't have mules, right? So that income disparity becomes even bigger.
Yeah, but nobody else has
finishes.
mules, Nate. Nobody else has mules. And if you look at the workers, the Terran's only down 4 SCVs. Brit.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that he won't. Not having the mules will still hurt him because he has to worry about the DTs now.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of like powerlifting or bodybuilding without steroids. With steroids, it does, you know.
It is a lot easier to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Here we go. It's moving out. DTs are going to get warp prismed up into the main base.
And does he trickle DTs out behind this as well while he drops the 2 in here?
Oh my God! Wait, is that?
No,
that's combat shield. It's combat shield. Is it?
This one's concussive shot. Okay. Yeah. Combat shield.
That would have been brutal.
Would have been a 6 snipe.
The army can't come back home. It does go to the wrong third.
He's looking for the third. He's like, what?
He's going to head up into the natural here. So the DT's mostly doing nothing as they get pulled back. Well, I mean, they do get pulled back, I guess is what I'm saying.
So ShaDoWn does have charge. He's adding in a significant number of zealots. Got an immortal, 2 archons behind this.
Big Gabe's in trouble, my man. He's in a lot of trouble. This Dark Templar opening was... And here's the funny thing, too. The Dark Templar opening is pretty... It was blind, it was lucky, and it's good. It's really good against a 2-base, 2-orbital push.
Yep. And he recalled, it looks like he recalled the Warp Prism, turned the DTs that he had in it into another Archon. Gonna be very hard for him to do much. Yeah. Protoss third is done. Hasn't started building probes again, though.
No upgrades.
Still prepared for the push, it feels like.
No upgrades for the Protoss. And 1 armor's about to finish to join 1 attack. It's gonna be a 2 upgrade advantage for a Terran player.
That's the best thing that HeroMarine has going for himself. The upgrades, he can definitely...
Deal.
You can melt the Zealots if you get a good fight, but he's kind of like turtling up now. He's like, well, there's still DTs, there's still a Prism on the map. I'm just going to retreat into my little Terran shell.
And that's the scary part about going down 0-1 in a best of 3, right? He has to start kind of chasing ghosts.
Yeah.
Not literally, I guess, but the point is he's just worried about things. He's going to move out here with these double medevacs. He's going to be thankful there's not a whole lot of stalkers here, otherwise this could have gotten really bad. Oh, what?
What did snipe on the sentry? Was he trying to get the Archon?
I guess it was the sentry, but it was like 6 Marines for that, which is odd.
Seeing red.
Okay. And now with a Warp Prism, a bunch of gateways behind this, ShaDoWn actually pulls back. I could have thought he maybe had an opening here. But he sees there's no third, so maybe the math he's doing kind of to himself is like, hey, I'm sitting on +1 base. Let him go ahead and try to catch up to me.
I think if you're ShaDoWn, you want to focus on the Forge upgrades, right? That's pretty much the only way you could lose this game is if the Terran somehow gets a big upgrade lead, which shouldn't happen.
Shows the Warp Prism, which I kind of like because basically now he has to be aware of the fact that that is just waiting for him. But he's going to chase off with a Viking he already made. A couple of medevacs a little sloppily out there, but they don't die.
Saving the Prism is pretty nice, though.
Oh, yeah. And as we say, it just sits there.
Third command center is going to move out. Burns a scan on the Observer.
He's got a Ghost Academy actually queued up here as well. I like that call. It is going to be Colossus behind this, but again, just Ghosts are good at removing shields, making Archons basically not count.
Ghosts are good versus this composition.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also the Immortals, too.
Yep.
Problematic.
And I like that he's getting the mines with this, too. There's a lot of players that do a lot with the siege tanks, but against this many Zealots, you want to avoid, of course, having the mine damage splashed across your own units.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think it's a pretty good setup that Big Gabe is going for this game.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if he holds on to the third. That'll be the big question mark here. By the way, lots of Colossus. I know we said this earlier, but just every Protoss is skipping Storm and going Colossus, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Very stylistic thing.
He's trying to force Vikings out, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, Colossus are good. I get it, but they're just like unanimously being used right now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Weird thing about the DT harass, because he was behind in the upgrades, the DTs do not one-shot SCVs if you are down that upgrade.
Oh, okay.
I mean, DTs need +1.
And upgrades are even for now. +2 attack is about to finish for our Terran player. But it looks like ShaDoWn's going to respect that third. He's not really threatening it too much. He gets 2-2 queued up here. Thermal Lance about to finish. Several Colossus coming out. In the past, and we'll see it here again, Big Gabe has gone for Vikings as his answer to Colossus, which it's a tough spot for Terran. It always has been classically. Like, Vikings are a good answer to the Colossus, but the problem is if you go too heavy-handed with it, they switch out a Colossus, and all of a sudden you're over-equipped for something that's not really showing up.
Yeah. It's a hard spot to fall into because the Vikings have that transformation service upgrade, so they can kind of try to get into the rest of the fight a bit faster, but they still melt to units like the Zealot, like the Immortal.
Yep. It was nice that they gave them more utility, though. They'd pack a wall up on the ground.
Yeah, they're really good if you can get them fight versus Stalkers, or if you're in a weird scenario where you like counterattack and do a big attack into like an expansion. They two-shot probes, but other than that,
All right, some Zealots found here at the
that's good.
alternative
That's a
third base
good
spawn.
grab.
Yep.
That's a good grab. Good snipe on the DT he got earlier as well. Looks like he's going to get this Observer.
Supplies fairly equal.
Looking a lot better than the last game for HeroMarine.
Absolutely. Disruptors and Storm coming out here for ShaDoWn, so he's going for the
All the AoE.
impossible army. Like, if you can do Colossus, Disruptor, and Storm effectively, you are a very good Protoss. Disruptor Storm specifically. The Colossus part's obviously pretty easy. All right, and he's, whoa.
Oh, those
yeah.
mine hits.
Well, for a second, he just kind of was like moving across the map. It's like, whoa, that's some hubris. But he's going to back up here. Storm's going to finish. Disruptor's coming out to join the army. And what this has done, by the way, this army movement from ShaDoWn, is there's been a complete lack of any kind of harass. There's no Liberators. There's been no drops. Nothing from HeroMarine.
Yeah, well, he's full turtle mode. Yeah.
And here we go. Ghost,
Finally
Widow Mines,
maxed out. Here we
Vikings, and Bio.
So if he gets the EMPs, there's big opportunity here. What is it, just 2 Colossus with the army?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, 9 Vikings is okay. He's getting 4 more behind this.
Yeah, which, like, I think 9's fine, and then the
Yeah.
more tips it slightly over into 2 months.
Yeah, I think I agree.
But, you know, how can he know?
He needs to get the EMPs to initiate this engagement, though. Storms will wreck him if he does not.
Any Storms land, he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
3 would
Be the mines
shot.
with that disruption.
Oh, good concave, though. I cannot imagine ShaDoWn stepping into this.
No.
He's going to back up, but Big Gabe's hungry. He's coming forward here. He's stimming. He's going to try to look for an engagement.
Oh my goodness. Well, that disruptor hit gets a huge chunk of the bio. And another disruptor shot's going to come out to push the army away once more. Wow. Okay.
And behind the ShaDoWn is taking an additional base again. So he's going to go ahead and apply that economic pressure. He's rebuilding the Dark Shrine. Both the armies kind of good scans here from our Terran play, though. He's seeing the army movement, and a Zealot counterattack against that mostly maxed out Terran is a problem as they jump on top of what smattering of units is coming off the barracks.
Yep, and that means the big army is going to make its way over towards Big Gabe's third base. Stalkers blink forward. There is a siege tank and a bunker. Will be picked off very quickly. Now the rest of the army is going to come in, tries to throw the disruptor shot to cover the flank. Storm hits the Vikings. One of the Colossi is picked off, though. Terran army is just collapsing on the Protoss right now.
He's giving chase. He's going to fight around this chasm here. There is another disruptor shot hitting one of those flanks. Storms.
He nailed a ton of EMPs on this army as well. There's the Vikings landing to cut off the retreat path. Could actually focus down the Immortal. They have insane damage versus Mechanical here.
Big supply advantage here for Gabe. He takes a good, favorable fight. He is landing the Vikings. I'm not seeing any kind of reinforcements that are going to do much for ShaDoWn. He's falling back to this freshly taken base, but with no Templar and no disruptors. There's 2 disruptors queued up here, but he's got to give up the base.
No answer to the Liberators as well. It's very hard to engage into this, even if you could get enough Zealots to punch through. The counterattack murdered his economy behind this. HeroMarine down to just,
SCVs.
yeah, just 36 workers he has left, and the 4th base was killed too, so he was never able to finish that. Really just comes down to, can ShaDoWn find a way to stabilize and push HeroMarine's army off of him?
Scary place for Big Gabe. He's winning in the army right now by a lot. But if he loses this army, there's no replenishing it almost whatsoever. So 3-3 is coming close to finishing for ShaDoWn. He's getting more disruptors out. If he lands virtually any of these shots, it's going to be a huge problem. So Vikings dying here. But again, as Nate said earlier, there's also no answer for the Liberators. It's got to be the strong point here for our Terran player.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem right now. Engaging into this many Liberators with this army is one of the few ways he could throw away his chances at this game. I really feel like HeroMarine has taken the opportunity that he was given to push back across the map when he was able to collapse on that army. Really, just the transition is not there to deal with all these Liberators covering the ground.
And I have to say, too, really nice play by HeroMarine to get to the expansions in a pretty fast pace, given this army is mostly about sieging. But hang on, this is the big fight, and it's not going to be good. He's fighting through Liberators. He's fighting through bad angles. And it looks like HeroMarine is going to secure for himself a tied point here in just a few moments.
Yeah, I really like the way that he used the ghosts, by the way, zoning. He still hasn't spent all the energy off of them because he's just saying, all right, I'm going to wait for you to attack the Liberators, EMP. That'll let them almost with one-shot the Stalkers, I think. I guess it might still be 2. He doesn't have +2 on the Liberators, but...
Great army control.
GG.
HeroMarine is going to get that win, and we're tied up 1 apiece to go to game 3. But again, I just have to say, it was looking, and that was a scary game for HeroMarine almost through the entirety of it. It was basically through the army composition and then the control of said army composition that secured for him what looks like in the end a pretty easy win. Like he handily wins the fights, but I got to tell you again,
he handled the big engagement so well.
A couple of storms, a couple more disruptor shots, and Big Gabe is out of WCS winner, and that would be ridiculous. He's one of the absolute best European players.
Yeah, before he chased him up the northeast side, he EMP'd the entire army. He got the Immortals, he got the Archons, he got all the energy that was left on the Templar. So he got the storm off on the Vikings, but at that point, we talked about it, he went a little bit overboard on the Vikings, so just a couple more, and that was enough. That did it. So he got rid of the Colossus, and I love that he also, as we talked about the damage that those landed Vikings can do, he flew them south of where the army was wanted to go, cut off the retreat path with the Vikings, and just really great control. Once HeroMarine got the army he wanted, he did a very good job of controlling it.
Yes. Well, hey, we're having a nice little series here. The first game was a little bit of a bop, but that second game, HeroMarine under pressure did the right thing too. And this is the other part of this as well. It's scary for a Terran to turtle. Like there's so many things a Protoss can do to punish that, especially when they're up a game, because then they can take pretty severe risks. I thought ShaDoWn played almost a little bit too safe. There was a lot of kind of, he like took a 4th base fairly after his 3rd. Things that Skillus was showing was actually like really powerful Protoss players to do in the earlier series, which is to aggressively take the 4th. So that way if a Terran is turtling, that becomes their death. It's like, oh, I've had a 4th base for 5 minutes now. But again, that's just a different interpretation of the situation. I thought ShaDoWn played a good game, but it was HeroMarine that rose to the occasion.
Yeah, and I think he did a really good job. I kind of agree with you there. Do you think that he should have tried to make a transition into Stargate? I feel like the Liberators are the big play to make when you get to the end game for TvP, right?
Yeah, I mean, Stargate for Tempest would have been fantastic. I think another big part of this, too, was a lot of Protoss players get caught in this, but he had all his Templar with his army, which is great for offensive purposes unless you get EMP'd. If he would have left like 3 or 4 Templars at that 4th base, at the 3rd base, and he's dropping, because literally, and I know this sounds weird, but HeroMarine was like 2 or 3 storms away from basically losing that game.
Yeah.
He was a mostly Marine force. He did have Ghosts, which are nice and tanky, but once the Marines aren't there to buffer, the army kind of falls apart. But because all the Templar were there and all the Disruptors were there, the second he lost that big fight, it snowballed into him losing 3 expansions immediately.
He had nothing back there to defend. You're right. If he has just a few Templar at each base, and he can drop 1 or 2 storms from those expansions, especially because, as you said, he went pedal to the metal. He was stimming really hard with the bio there. But we are going to start loading now into game number 3. This series will end on year 0. Any thoughts on this map and control, outside of the co-op jokes that everyone makes?
I think this map is also difficult for Terran and TvP. At a glance, I don't think it's like the worst map ever, but you do have to push across a fairly long map that has some serious choke points to get to where the Protoss can expand up and down. And then also because of that, drops aren't as strong on here because you're mostly going over either land or you are going through air, but then the drop spots are predictable where you can go from there. So I think it's a tough map, TvP. We'll have to see how Mr. Big Gabe here handles it.
All right. Our Protoss player is the first player we're going to talk about in the northeast. He's in blue, tied 1-1. He is ShaDoWn. He faces off against the red Terran player in the northwest, trying to bring things back. He is HeroMarine.
Big fan of Big Gabe, and we make our jokes about salty Terran players, but honestly, it would be kind of weird to go through WCS Winter without having him looming around, threatening to challenge some of the better players out there. And it's not to say that there's not fans of ShaDoWn, of course, a French Protoss player that's had some great results last year. We talked about the cannon rushing of Scarlet, of course, and kind of a nice run there. But hopefully he can, I mean, if he advances, advances beyond this is a loser match, but that'd be fun too.
Yeah.
Well, I need my Big Gabe, though. There's not a lot of Terran players in Europe. He's got to keep going. He's got to keep going.
You've got Euthermal so far. He made it out of his group.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, Big Gabe's got a lot of fans. You know, for all the people that say what they will about TvP, about Protoss, they really just like Big Gabe. You know?
They just like Big Gabe.
I think they just like Big Gabe.
They
And
like
sometimes
Big Gabe, they don't like dogs, and they hate cats. You know, that's what those people are.
Whoa, whoa.
What?
Humans that don't like dogs?
They're out there,
Do you
man.
still call them humans at that point?
I mean, I don't, but
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad. I was just making sure we agreed on that before we continued this conversation about
Fair
a
enough.
video game.
low ground expansion, Reaper coming out as well, of course. Probe spots these normal things so far. That gateway, you'll notice for the Protoss player, is placed at -3 seconds. So this Adept coming out.
Yeah.
I need you guys to hold your hands. It's a slower Adept.
Yeah. He's not as fast as the other boys.
It's not as fast. ShaDoWn, I think probably shouldn't overthink this game 3. Game number 1 was a clean victory, absorbing the aggression of the Terran player and just kind of winning off of that. Game 2, he was in a fantastic place as well off of that Dark Shrine opening. But I felt like he almost played a little bit too passive. He just kind of sat back, and then when he did get aggressive, it was a little bit uneasy. He just kind of goes all the way across the map and just attacked. At one point, he even just went up that ramp and just took some extra damage for free and was like, oh, I guess I'm not attacking there. It was kind of weird aggression.
Yep, Reaper is going to find the probe that is out on the map. This will not be able to get away. Oh, almost loses him for a second. Twilight Council be the tech of choice for ShaDoWn. I mean, Blink just makes a lot of sense, right? Everyone just kind of goes Blink.
Yep.
Observer. Very safe. Gives you a lot of counterattack potential if your opponent whiffs on something like a mine drop, which, hey, by the way, we got a starport and Widow Mines being built with some Marines. So looks like it should be that mine drop build.
And to your point, I mean, that game almost ended with that too, right? Like the Stalkers.
Yeah, that was a huge part, I feel, of that one, was that he tried maybe to push it a little hard.
It is Blink, as Nate said.
And that scout is eliminated. So here comes the medevac. Marines are on the way. He's going to get third Widow Mine. He's got this one preemptively placed in case of, I guess, an Oracle. Nothing hiding in the main base, though. Blink is coming in. Warp Gate, just about done. And with the robotics facility, he's going to get that observer. So this really just comes down a lot to, what would you say, Jeff? Reaction time then. He's going to have 2 stalkers. And with Warp Gate, he can immediately get the third.
Yep, pulling off the probes, throwing one sacrificial probe at it to try and trigger the Widow Mine is the way to go here. The nice thing about this opening is it's inexpensive for HeroMarine as well. If it doesn't get any damage done, of course, that's too bad, but it's not like, oh my god, he's so far behind. But if he kills 12 probes, the game is just like basically over anyways.
Yeah.
So it's got this huge upswing with not as much downswing to it.
Yeah, got to be careful flying around this map, by the way, because there are some air pathing blockers, particularly around where Amon is and some of those rocks, it looks like. So if you just click on the other side from the very top, sometimes your units can get a little bit stuck. Be very mindful, but there's the scan, sees that there are stalkers already there. Blink is almost ready. The observer is locked on to that medevac. He knows exactly what is going on. He's going to burrow that. Picks off the observer with the mine.
Sure.
Cheeky, cheeky.
Yeah, I already saw that there were stalkers in the main, so the idea of dropping anyways is probably a little bit silly. Getting a Widow Mine shot and killing that observer, not bad.
Nope, not bad at all. So defends the attack. The observer sees everything going on. Can tell that Stim has started at this exact moment. And this is another one of those maps where you have that risk factor. If you lose this drop, those stalkers might just go across the map and try to snipe your Stim. Because he does not have really a lot to deal with it. Just a bunch of slow Marines.
Off-kilter timing on the Dark Shrine, by the way. So the proxy Dark Shrine last time did not catch Big Gabe off guard. Situationally, it was kind of bad, but he had the missile turret ready to go. I'm wondering if that's just a thing or if that was an instinct he had last game, because this Dark Shrine is coming a lot later, right? But still earlier than a 4-base Dark Shrine or something like that.
He does have an engineering bay,
but no
like
missile turrets.
Flies over the probe, by the way. Kind of weird path crossing there. And 4 gateways coming in with charge and +1. This mine drop won't do anything here. There are no workers here to kill, but the units are already in position at the natural expansion. We've got the Immortal with the Sentry and those 3 stalkers. Now, he did transfer some, so maybe he'll get a probe or 2. It's something.
But kind of also, yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but it's also revealing that he wants to do that.
Yep.
So ShaDoWn, I mean, this is game 3. Should be playing about as crisp as possible. Still no missile turrets, right? I'm not making this up here.
He's got one at the
Oh, he still has the one at the front. Okay.
No other ones, so.
And no more prism mount, I don't believe.
Yeah, it'd be hard to get anything done, though, I guess, with that. He's got the 3rd command center coming in. I don't know. Is there much energy? He's got 2 scans available to him.
It could just be that it's a Dark Shrine. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily that he's like, well, now I warp in 7 DTs and go for it. Great anti-drop, maybe some harass later. There's 2 DTs kind of making their way across the map.
Ooh, gonna run smack dab into that army. Kind of wondered, do
Did not notice.
you tag one onto him, or do you just try to run by?
Oh, yeah, you run by.
Okay.
Especially when they're close like that, because then it's a scan and they both die. If you had one there, maybe.
Yeah, I guess pull one off, then
yeah.
I don't know.
But he also probably feels like he has a big enough army at home to fight this. So the idea of forcing him to use a scan there is not as attractive. Yeah. Of course, has to say that.
Well,
he's got
the army there, and he's got his charge upgrade. Plus 1 armor. You don't want to lose his medevacs.
He could lose everything here. Oh, but that blink was really weird. I mean,
I
get it.
He didn't want to stretch himself too far forward?
He didn't want to go forward to lose them, but he has so many zealots right there that the idea would be go ahead and let him spend time shooting the stalkers. He's going to lose them to the zealots, and then you kill the medevacs. But anyways, he plays it safe.
Yep, and it looks like he's going to be able to get the second mine into this mineral line, but it will not be able to burrow if he focus fires it. Oh! Okay, not bad. Gets a few more.
Big fight in the middle.
Still chasing this army down, though. Good focus fire on the medevacs like you were talking about. He's going to get one, almost the second. I like the DT mixed in here, too. He's got this one parked under the command center.
And I'll tell you what.
Can't land there.
I don't think there's much more Terran army, though. He did not push forward. There's no Warp Prism out here. If we get a shot of the natural, the third's not going to be able to land. That is the entire Bioforce, and it's only the 3 medevacs. So I guess he had a little bit more. But again, with the Warp Prism out here, I feel like ShaDoWn's like a warping away from just snowballing for the win there, or at least never letting him land the third, which is basically a win at this point anyways as well.
And that DT can see it, so he has the option to try and break down the rocks, open up another path to push that base. The Widow Mine at the tower does see this, though, and he's going to scan that. Actually, really good hit. Triggers both of the Immortals barriers and gets rid of a lot of the shields on these units.
What is the cooldown on that, I wonder, though? Because if he doesn't fight the next, like,
on the Immortal
seconds,
shield?
Yeah.
It's like 20, 28 or something.
Is that high? Okay. All right, well, we're going to have a pretty big fight here. He is behind the command center, but these Zealots are going to jump on top of that Bioforce for the most part, which is a little bit of a weird angle for ShaDoWn, so he's going to back up here. Good concave for HeroMarine, and he will chase off the Protoss adversary.
Yeah, just grabs a couple of workers. I like this, though. This worked very well for HeroMarine before. Going for
Yes.
quick Liberator range. If your opponent does not want to play Stargate, ranged Liberators are about the best unit you are going to get in TvP. They are extremely good. Not to mention, of course, the amazing damage that Liberators can put out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the Observer there now, and suddenly things are looking up for Big Gabe.
I'd say so. He's up 15, 20 supplies somewhere in that ballpark. Here does come that Warp Prism, albeit a little bit late. Still not a bad call here. It's never a bad call for a Warp Prism, and it's going to be Colossus behind us, 2 at a time. But as Nate said, with that ranged Liberator tech coming out, I think that lines up quite nicely for a Terran player.
Yep. These Liberators are coming out in full force. He's building 3 at a time. The range upgrade is huge. I think the next big moment in this game is really going to be what he does with the Prism.
Oh, wow.
We've got a little missile turret ring underway.
Yeah.
This map is kind of tricky with that. Yeah, look at that. He builds all the way up here. Okay. He knows what he's doing. He's seen this movie before.
It's not his first time doing battle with a random European Protoss player that can sneak a Warp Prism in or so.
No, it is not. And Gabe's got control of the North Tower. We do have a Stalker kind of check into range of the sensor tower. He's going to send his small force to investigate. But it's going to be very hard to engage this. The advanced ballistics upgrade is complete. He's kind of holding on to this Prism, but it looks like he did poke.
He poked. Saw that there's missile turrets.
Nothing doing there.
Nope, not this time. Now, the good news is, well, no, I don't think he's seen the Liberators yet. I was going to say he saw the Liberators so he knows to prepare for it, but he hasn't really.
He has a Stargate just starting now, so
Yeah.
I think he's starting to hit. Ooh, risky blink.
There's the blink. It's like so funny. That one's super aggressive. I got, so
Yeah, it's too many Liberators. Way too many. Cannot attack into this.
I do like the aggroing of ShaDoWn, though. If these Liberators just siege up outside of a 4th or 3rd base, the game just ends from there. I can't see him taking a fight anytime soon. But by buying time, getting Disruptors out, an additional Colossus, letting these Stargates finish, he'll have an answer. But it's a ways out, Nate. He needs time.
Yep. As soon as HeroMarine gets to ShaDoWn's base, if he doesn't have, I mean, does he need? It has to be Tempest at this point, right? There's too many Liberators. So if he doesn't have Tempest, the Fleet Beacon hasn't started. The Stargate is done, and now the Viking production is coming in as well. So
ShaDoWn has the money too. If you're looking at that, he's actually floating a pretty healthy chunk of minerals and gas.
He's a rich boy for sure.
These delays are kind of bad, like really bad.
Uh-oh. Oop. He's building an Oracle. That's not going to solve your problem here. Templar Archives.
And he's doing the Goblin Dance, too. He's just kind of backing up to go die, which is a little bit weird.
Yep. No, I completely agree with you. I was going to say, I feel like you need to just get up to at least 2, ideally 3 Stargates, and just start cranking out Tempest. If you kill every unit on the ground, all of these Liberators will still melt this entire army.
Yeah, and there's so many Liberators, by the way. Like, this counterattack's fantastic. 14, 15, 16 plus SCVs dying.
Counterattack doesn't stop the attack that's coming.
He's gonna fight. There's the Blink 4, but there's so many Liberators. Like, the second he does, he's like, wait, I can't actually take this fight. No, you need Tempest.
No, Liberators are good units, my dude.
Stargate's finished. You've got money. He just never did it.
And he's got the Widow Mines underneath the Liberators, too.
No, he's gonna try to fight this man.
He's just dead, right? I don't know what he's gonna. I don't know what
He's dead and he doesn't know it. He's gonna try and take this fight.
I mean, he hasn't.
That's only +2 attack finishing, too, by the way.
Warps in a bunch of Archons, but unless he kills every single bit of bio, I still don't even think if he blinked and A-moved the Archons with the Stalkers into this, that he could kill just the Liberators without the bio.
No. This is like some of those sci-fi movies, like when they evacuate a planet, but ships are getting blown up as they leave.
Yep.
That's what's happening every time. He's like, can I fight here? No. Well, I'm leaving my natural. I'm leaving my third. Can I fight here? No. And every time he leaves, the Liberators are getting their shots off, and they're killing key units. So here he is. He's like, I'm going to flank this. But look, the natural's gone.
Yep. Tried to warp into DT there as well. Not doing it. Great positioning there. Blocking himself. So he's trying to fight this Liberator siege from behind, but the Liberators all turn around. And yeah, Big Gabe off the back of that choice, the call to go for the very fast second starport. This is something that we haven't seen enough of because so many of the games are built on these 2-base pushes.
This one hurts. This one hurts, Nate, because oftentimes it's about affording Tempest. It's about affording the fleet beacon. That is a big problem, and that's why you don't get to it. He's been floating about 2,000 minerals and 1,000 gas this entire time. He never tried. He said, I mean, the only answer we can get is he would say that he didn't have time for it. But that's why the army's out there, is that he was trying to buy time for it. The Stargate finished when this army was like outside of its third, and he just never tried. He never even built the fleet beacon.
So he's going to try to enforce some sort of awkward base trade now. He's like, okay, well, if I pick off your command centers, the DTs can rip your army apart. But he's doing a great job of killing those.
Yeah, he's trickling out DTs. So as the third is lifted here, that is a nice tactic.
He has the bank. He doesn't really have a lot of workers, so his income is done. But he's got enough bank to try and squeeze out a few. So
yeah,
he's like hoping for this miracle Hail Mary scenario.
I'll tell you what, it'd be weird to see. If HeroMarine loses this, because just individual DTs are getting walked out.
I'd be shocked if HeroMarine lost.
He could.
Place.
He actually could. Yeah, I mean, this fight's not good either. These Liberators are unsieged. There's Archons on top of them. And this natural could get dislodged as well, which is, again,
that's the
second orbital.
Well, okay, so the third orbital, he pushed it back, but he didn't kill it. So that's 2 scans available right there, which is pretty good. This command center sneaks its way to the southwest corner. I think a medevac might have brought a full load of SCVs there as well. Pretty sick. Is he just going to... Oh, he's going to box him in!
Yeah.
This is the part where you call. Open the Bifrost, get me out of here.
Open the Bifrost.
There's so many Liberators. This is comical.
Yeah.
He's super dead. I don't know what you could do against this many Liberators.
And he's still...
He's going to recall.
And now it is the problem of affording the start, the fleet beacon and Tempest. He actually can't.
No.
He didn't lose the natural. He didn't lose the third, so he's saturated them.
He's got a planetary in the southwest.
He has 24 probes, though.
Yeah.
So. Doesn't know about that fully saturated Terran base, which is going to be what fuels the final efforts here. But honestly, I do believe HeroMarine could not be mining at all right now and probably still win.
Yeah. There's no answer to the Liberators. He would need to just accidentally be like, I'm going to kill the Colossus with air-to-air Liberators, and then maybe. That's really reaching, though. No, he's just going to get bullied around the map by these Liberators.
Good army control here from Big Gabe as well. Sieging and unsieging, leapfrogging forward. And here is the worst game of hopscotch you've ever seen. It's the Protoss player. The ground is lava, but like everything is ground, and he just can't stop stepping on it. And he won't stop. He can't stop, and he won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're in the elimination match. It's game 3. He's not going to tap out until every last unit is dead. We're getting there, though. And the Colossus gets chased down, picked off by that Viking. Maybe he's going to box him into the planetary. Maybe he'll lose the last bits of his army fighting that PF under mass repair.
Or he just finds out that he has a PF down there, and he's like, oh, you're actually in pretty good.
Oh, I'm not as... This game is not as close as I was hoping it was.
Nope, not even. Not even a little bit.
Nope.
And he's not even buying time for anything. This is literally what Nate just said. This is game 3, so you're just going to do whatever you can. Maybe Gabe gets so frustrated unsieging and sieging Liberators that he quits.
Yeah. He's hoping for the exploding Terran wrist syndrome, I think.
Yeah. Big Gabe just hits retirement because the series is too close in general.
Yeah. Or retires because of old age, right?
Retires.
Terrans age faster.
Yeah, he's 21 years old.
Salt consumption.
He's a very old guy.
In Terran years, it's about 64.
Yeah. And like you said, with the amount of salt that he's been putting through his liver, it's just like...
Yeah. Is it? Can you really call it a liver
Could be 128,
anymore?
basically.
I don't even know if liver's an appropriate word for it.
So I think we'll never get that final battle. We're gonna get Okay, so he recalls.
Maybe we will.
I'm gonna defend this natural. Here we go. Here
and then
we
12
go.
Liberators siege up. If the Archons all splash the 1 hex of the Liberators, then
And
Bio will still
we're dead.
kill everything.
Super screwed up.
Did get through a lot of the Liberators, though.
It is 48 supply to 134. I think Big Gabe at this point in time is trying to make this look painful. Man, yeah, we're microing over here. I'm picking up Marauders individually.
How can I complain about so much if I don't give away some units?
And the rest of the army. Good screen work, by the way. He's like microing against 7 Marauders, and then it's like, actually, it's a 100 supply advantage. Get out. It's like, oh, okay. Well,
it's not over yet.
ShaDoWn is also, it's important to know, he's a French pro.
Indeed.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? You micro every all right.
We did it, boys.
Anytime a player drags it out, the GG timing to me is like locked in to be weird, because it's like, when does it click in your head that it's actually over? It's like, was it when 30 Liberators were chasing you around the map and you were doing nothing? No, it's actually after that. He's like, it's when it's right outside my natural and I have nothing going for me. It's like, no, okay, all right.
Well,
That's it. ShaDoWn's out. Good showing though. He fought some tough opponents.
yeah.
And this one's going to hurt, like I said, because
He had many opportunities to close this out in both games, it felt like.
what does HeroMarine do with a lifted, or no, he's pushing off his 3rd. He's slow pushing out of his 3rd, and there's 2 Tempests that start hitting his Liberators. And then 4, and then 6. Like, what does he do? Make more Vikings? And now the Vikings have to answer for the Colossus and the Liberators? Or Tempests, excuse me? I don't think so.
Feels like ShaDoWn maybe a little bit too used to winning before it reaches that phase of the game, I guess, where he's
Is that what he's guilty
he's
of?
He's not.
As a Protoss player,
was
he's
just-
just so used to winning before
I'm just
Tempest?
saying, if you play for that phase of the game before ranged Liberators come out, maybe he wasn't ready to make that transition. Maybe he doesn't do it that much.
I think range caught him off guard for sure, but at the same time, he made the Stargate, and you're not making that Stargate for any other reason than to then make the fleet beacon while adding additional Stargates, because he didn't do that.
Because when the Stargate finished, he immediately builds the Oracle. So it's like, okay, but it was like, there was no and. It's like, no, I just want an Oracle. That was actually the whole reason I built it. Yeah. You need Tempest to deal with ranged Liberators, but
It's
we
tough.
have another match coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Multiple matches.
Multiple matches coming up. We got the winners match next. It's going to be Skillus versus Mana in a PvP for the ages. And then the loser of that match will fall down to fight against HeroMarine in the Decider. You're watching the World Championship Series Winter Europe Edition when we return some PvP.
Oh, yes, good.